Hi, welcome to Mrs. Park's Algebra 1 class. This is section 3, part of chapter 5, solving multi-step inequalities. Okay, so far in section 1 and 2, we've been solving inequalities by adding or subtracting and multiplying and dividing. The only real difference with inequalities was the real difference between solving equations and inequality is when you multiply or divide by a negative number, you reverse the sign, you just flip it the other way. Alright, so here we have another inequality. Excuse me. Negative 11y minus 13 is greater than 42. Okay, so just like how you would solve an equation, you are to add or subtract first, and then multiply or divide. Okay, so here's our inequality. Usually when we were solving equation, I would like to circle the term with the variable, and whatever is next to it is what we're getting rid of. So negative 13 you're going to get rid of by adding 13 on each side. Okay, so that got rid of that. Now you have negative 11y. Okay, there's nothing to be changed with the sign because you're just adding 13 on each side, which is 55. Okay. Now you're dividing by a negative 11. So again, when you're dividing by a negative, the sign needs to be flipped the other way. So now you have y, flip the sign, 55 divided by negative 11 is negative 5. Okay, so your answer is y is less than negative 5. And really that's all it is to it. It's just like you're solving an equation. We're throwing in one more element here by doing the distributive property. Okay. Okay. So here's a big watch out. Distributive property. If a negative number is multiplied by a sum or difference, remember to distribute the negative sign along with the number to each term inside the parentheses. Okay. And we'll do some of these problems later on. Alright, for here. Okay, so 4 times, parentheses, 3t minus 5 plus 7 is greater or equal to 8t plus 3. Okay, it may look complicated, but it certainly is not, because we have been doing these problems with equations. Okay, plus 7 greater or equal to 8t plus 3. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is distribute this 4. Okay, that means multiply everything inside the parentheses. 4 times 3t, you write as 12t. There's a minus sign there. 4 times 5, 20. Okay, plus 7 greater or equal to 8t plus 3. Excuse me. So you're going to simplify these numbers first. So negative 20 plus 7 should be negative 13. Is greater or equal to 8t plus 3. Okay. So next step here, you want to get all the variables on one side. So let's get rid of this 8t here. Okay, let's get rid of the 8t by subtracting on each side. So that got rid of that. You have 12t minus 8t, which is 4t. You still have the minus 13, greater or equal to. The sign didn't change at all throughout. And you have positive 3 here. Okay, so you are going to add 13 to each side. And that's gone. You have 4t. The sign is still greater or equal to 3 plus 13 is 16. And last, just like how you would solve an equation, you're going to divide by 4 on each side to get t by itself. The sign didn't change at all throughout this process. It's always going to be greater or equal to, and 16 divided by 4 is a 4. So t is greater or equal to 4. Okay. Alright, so this watch out about this negative is a little bit more complicated. So let's do it on a separate sheet. Let's see. Okay. Alright. So as long as you're taking the proper steps, it's not that complicated. You're just doing distributive property just like you would with an equation. Okay. Alright, so first step, you're going to distribute everything. So 2 into h and 6. So you have 2h plus 2 times 6 is 12. Greater than. Okay. This time you have a negative 3 multiply 8. So that's a negative 24. Minus, you have a negative 3 times h, which is a negative 3h. Okay. So if I'm going to rewrite this part, you have 2h plus 12 is greater than negative 24 minus a negative makes it a positive, so plus 3h. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and subtract 3h on each side. And that gives me negative h plus 12 is greater than negative 24. Okay. I'm going to subtract 12 on each side to get rid of that. And now you have negative h is greater than negative 24 minus 12, negative 36. And in order to get rid of that negative, I'm going to divide by negative 1 on each side. And there we go again. Divide by negative. I'm going to switch that sign to the other way. And you have h is less than 36. Okay. So the only thing you need to look out for is that negative. If you're multiplying dividing by negative, you're going to flip that sign. Okay. Okay. So a few more problems here. So when you have empty set and all real numbers. Okay, so when you solve an equation like this, or inequality like this, and you come down all the way here, we're not going to go through each step here, but when you come down and you have something like 25 is less or equal to 12, you got rid of your terms with the variable, so you have left 25 is less or equal to negative 12. Is that true? 25 is not less or equal to negative 12. It's actually greater. So the solution set is an empty set. And you can write it with this symbol here, empty set. There's going to be another case where you solve it. There's no terms with variables. And you have 18 is less or equal to 18. That is true because of that equal sign there. Then that means it's all true. So all real numbers are solutions. Okay, so if the number sentence is not true, it's an empty set. If it is true, then all real numbers is the solution.